What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of So Wet, So Dry. I'm one of your hosts, Fiji, like the island, like the water. My roster is acting the fuck up right now, and I work in social media and marketing.
And I'm your other host, Autumn, like the season. I feel like cute girls are always nauseous, and I'm super cute. And I work in entertainment.
Bitch, what I was trying to say is this situation got me so wet and so dry at the same time. Exactly.
So this week we have our sort of pop culture ideas wrap up for the month. So we're each going to share some mini topics and things that have been going on right now or things we've been thinking about a lot this month. And we're just going to go back and forth. And these are topics that do not make the cut for our normal schedule content, our deep dive normal episodes.
But first, we're going to start the episode talking about what we're so wet and so dry about in this very moment. So I will go first, guys. I'm so wet about Ron Shack. Like, I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he makes music. I found him on TikTok. Yes, I found out later that he's approximately 18 years old, which makes me feel a little weird for fangirling over him. But he sounds like old Young Thug, old Lil Wayne. Like, he just has style, like an emo vibe. And I cannot stop listening to his fucking music. Like, he is just like so my type. And I'm just obsessed with him. The other thing that I'm so wet about is the content creator Thickney. I had mentioned her in our last episode, but she is so fucking funny to me. She's known as like the crash out queen or like fucking whatever. Like, her videos are so fucking funny. And she's on Streamer University, like Kai Cenat's like Streamer University, which I don't really know what it is. I haven't been paying attention. I just went on TikTok and saw like clips of her. And I'm like, Kai Cenat is also like a great person. Like, I'm obsessed with him kind of too. So I don't know. Those are just my top two artist creators I'm into right now.
I love that. I would say this week I'm so wet. Like, I feel like I've been definitely like feeling more like confident lately and like all of that. And I feel like it does like have to do with like the fact that like someone wants me and like I want them too. But I feel like it's not all that because it's not like, and I just feel like my last relationship was like very like male gaze, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like even like from my past with like stripping, it's like I always felt very confident, but like in a weird male gazy type of way.
Yes.
But I've just like, and I know like spoiler, but like I've just been embracing like my like pussy hair and like remember like when I used to be like that, and like I love when I like get out of the shower and like how it feels. And like I just think it's like
Bush
like,
confidence.
and I just remember it's like that type of confidence. You know, it's not just like, oh, like she thinks I look good and like whatever.
Right.
It's like the real like woman shit. And so I just been feeling like extra spurts of confidence. Like, but once I say this though, like I'll be like, I hate myself. But no, I'm just kidding. But that's how it is. Like the duality. That's why it's spurts of confidence. You're never going to be confident 100% of the time. So yeah, I'm just wet about that.
Love. I'm so dry because I feel like I'm kind of like a mess right now. Not only literally in the sense that like my entire condo is a wreck and I have to leave to go to my parents' house and then New York in like less than 24 hours, but also just in the sense of like how I've been managing my like personal life and relationships and like going out and like everything. Like there was a time period before all the shit went down last year that you guys don't know about in my private life, like some crazy shit happened. During that time, like I was on it. I was like organized, like the condo was clean. I was working out on a schedule. Like I've gotten back there to like working out on Mondays and Tuesdays, like kickboxing after work. Like I'm like slowly inching back to it. But like I know when my room and my bathroom and everything is just like a fucking wreck, like my life is a wreck. And I also just feel like I've been acting out of like emotional drunk impulses and just like just thinking with like my pussy and like my drunk brain, like I'm just like like if there was a word to describe this era right now, it's just messy. And I'm like, it was fun for a minute, but I'm getting kind of dry. I'm like, bitch, we got to clean it up, you know?
Yeah, and it's also so funny because I just asked you, like, what's your, like, fashion look you're going for? And you're like, I want to look messy.
Yes.
So maybe you're, like, emulating that.
I'm emulating that, yes.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before, but it's like everything in your life. It's like sometimes you'll be so good about like working out, like drinking water, like taking your vitamins. But yeah, your room's a fucking mess. And I hate that. Like I just recently cleaned my closet, like with the help from someone else.
Great.
And wow, it's just like it really,
but
really,
then it
really
gets
helps
destroyed the second you need a fucking outfit. So it's like, I'm just like in my what the fuck is the point era. And I'm also like, maybe if my room's a mess, I'll stop having people over to fuck. Like I'm just like doing these psychological
you think
tricks.
Like that a lot.
You know?
Yeah, like if I don't wax my pussy,
but it doesn't,
I'm not gonna have sex.
Right, but it doesn't work because I still do it.
And then you like feel embarrassed about Get that. Heard. I feel like I'm so dry kind of about the irony between like I feel like as a society, like we talk about all the time, like we're lonely, we're lacking community. But at the same time, like I feel so anxious, like when people text me or like try to make plans with me. And like I know a lot of people can relate to this, like mostly everyone I know. Like you have like texts that like you're like gonna answer, but you like leave it as like unopened. So you know you go back to it. And I'll like open it and then see what it says. Okay, like mark as unread. And then like weeks will go by. And I'm like, this person thinks I hate them. And it's like this anxiety that we have of like having access to each other all the time. And if someone doesn't answer you, it's hurtful. But really, they could have like fallen down the stairs, like broke their leg. Like you don't know their life. Like it doesn't mean anything. And then I feel that and so anxious. I'm like, oh my God, this person wants to hang out with me. But then I don't want to, and I'm anxious, but then I complain, like I have no friends, and it's just exhausting.
But it's like one or the other, because I feel like right now I've been in my down for whatever fucking era where I'm hanging out with anybody, but it's like when I was like stable, I felt that way because it's like, no, you're gonna fuck up my routine. Like I need to prioritize myself. Like it's a lot to like get yourself ready to go hang out with another person, and sometimes it's not even always what you really want to do. You know?
Oh my God. And then it's like feeling like, okay, well, I should hang out with them because they're like one of the only few friends that I have, but also like, you know, like it's kind of mean, but that's just how I'm feeling right now. Like,
you're in your
I feel
loner
like I
era.
just want like a clean slate and then like to build, but I feel like everything I'm working with right now like isn't really the vibe. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
you know?
you need new friends, babe.
Yeah, I do.
All right, guys, the first cultural thing that we are talking about is the fact that bush confidence is trending.
Back, baby.
It's trending on TikTok. It's trending in the memes. The bitches have bushes. They're in bush bikinis. The bushes are out. They're fucking everybody. The bushes are outside. So we're going to watch some TikToks about the bushes.
How often do you shave your cooch? Go.
Oh, once a week.
Once a week?
Definitely like 3 times.
3 times a week. Here you go.
Thank you. If a girl shaves her cooch more than once, it's painful and that must be really good.
How often do you shave your coochie?
Whenever it's too long.
Only when I need to, when I see somebody.
Okay, here you go. How often do you shave your cooch?
Like every 3 days?
Like once a week. Pretty often, 3 times a week.
Really Queenie. Have a good day.
So maybe once a month if someone's lucky. But I'm nice and clean, I think.
I would agree, like once a month.
How many times a week do you shave your cooch? Go.
0.
0? There you go. 0. Go off, queen.
What's crazy is that my bush got stuck on the zipper of my jeans, even though I had underwear on. That is the sheer power of my bush.
I'm gonna grab your bush when I say this. Where is your bush? I'm sorry, I thought it was full bush in a bikini summer. Where is it? They said they would twin with it.
No, y'all, I'm going to be so real with you.
No, don't piss me off
I
right
am
now.
not.
Yo, speak your truth,
No,
babe.
but I am a partial member of this community because I wax my pussy bald and I do not feel confident or powerful or secure or sexy or ready to fuck unless my pussy is bald. But because waxing my pussy costs money, and I don't always want to go get it waxed. I will have a full bush in between the waxings, but I only started having the bush because I started getting waxed. You know what I'm saying?
And you don't shave ever, right?
I don't shave ever because I want it to be waxed. And I will say I keep the bush when it's bushing, and I'm like, oh, like, that's my birth control. Like, I'm not gonna fuck anyone. It's my chastity belt,
no,
my
guys,
bush.
She does. She's not
But
lying.
I do. I fuck people on my period. I fuck people with a bush. Like, nothing, like, if they're begging for
Nothing's gonna stop me.
Nothing's gonna stop me. If they're begging for it, like, they're gonna fucking have it. Like, I'm easy. You feel me? But I don't know. Like, bush in a bikini, guys, like, I'm gonna be so serious and so vulnerable for a minute. If my pussy hair is like slightly long and you can see it on the sides of my bikini, I will sit on my balcony in the sunlight and I will tweeze it. So okay. Like, you know, like, I'm not bush confident.
No, babe, and that's okay. You know what I mean? That's like that whole thing where it's like don't, like, you have, if you're a feminist, no way you can't wear a bra.
Right.
You know, like, it's about preference. The whole thing is to be about, like, your bush, you're not bush, your pussy hair, you're not your choice, you know, and what makes you feel sexy. And for me, I think I go through waves. Like,
yes. Because you got lasered.
Yes, I have a lot to say, low key, but my, like, first relationship is, like, the first time I was like, okay, like, pussy hair is sexy, not on myself, but I like her pussy. Yes. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, because I feel like I had only really fucked with, like, bald pussy bitches up until that point.
Yeah.
And they, like, loved their bush, okay? So I was like monkey see, monkey do. I was like okay, bush. You look so good. I want to look that good. And I was, like, really embracing it. And at the time when we were strippers in Boston, cannot believe I did this.
You had
but I did have a tight bush.
You had a landing strip. You had a landing strip.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you're right. I used to, like, make designs and shit. Yes. It was, like, my creative time in the shower. Yeah, I was
and you had armpit hair.
And I had armpit hair. Yeah, and my legs, like, everything. Yeah. I was fucking hairy as fuck. Like, I was really into that. I felt confident as hell. Like, it really made me confident. And then fast forward my relationship with a man and stripping out here in California, everything changed.
Yeah.
Like, I would not go to the strip club unless I was perfect everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm sure there was some times where there was, like, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got my pussy lasered. I regret it now. Yeah. I feel like it's finally grown back and it's, like, thick again.
Yeah.
But for a time, I was, like, so thin. There was, like, nothing there. And, like, with OnlyFans, like, I remember I would take pictures, and if I had, like, a hair that I forgot to shave or something, like, I would, like, edit the photo so it would go away. And, like, very male gaze, like, very, like, porn star, porn culture. And I did feel sexy with it, and I still do. And, like, I shouldn't, but I do, like, equate, and, like, maybe this is wrong, so maybe I'm gonna be vulnerable for a second. Maybe this is really fucked up. But I kind of do equate, like, being confident, like, with my bush, like, with women and, like, queer relationships.
Yeah.
Like, I've never felt that with a man. Like, I've
that
only
makes
been
sense,
with one.
Though.
Like, I know I could. I don't think that's, like, impossible. Like,
I mean, some guys like it. Like, I had an ex that, like, begged me to grow it out, and I was like, fuck no.
Because
like,
everyone just has preferences, exactly. And you think of the stereotypical, it's like a girl or a woman, whoever is, like, shaving because they want to please the man. But it's, like, exactly for you. It's like you've had bitches beg for it, and you're like, no. Because I truly believe that's just how you feel confident. And, like, to break down the why, like, it's meaningful. And it's, at the end of the day, I'm just like, I feel like just shave your, like, wax your pussy then. I don't think it's that
and that's the thing, though. Like, I will say, like, I think waxing is the perfect like, in between for me, because I do have it long.
It feels so good when you get it waxed.
Well, after, not during.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yes.
Because I freak out. My wax lady is like, you're so dramatic. I'm like, bitch, this hurts me. Like,
no,
what
when
are you saying?
when your ass, like, when they
that
flip
never
you
hurts.
over and spread your cheeks, yeah.
That never hurts for me, though. It's always just, the, like, lips.
Oh my
fucking
God.
hurt.
Closest to the clit really
Closest
hurts.
to the clit hurts. But I'm like, when I used to shave my pussy, I hate it. I would get such bad razor burn. Like, and that's why I wanted to start getting waxed, because it was just like smoother. It was like better for my skin, like all of those types of things. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like if you're shaving, just keep it, like trim it. Like, I feel like a bush is better. Like, shaving, I genuinely feel like is the worst thing to do.
I know. I definitely, like, now it's like I'll shave it like every once in a while, but like right now I'm really rocking with it. Like, I don't see myself shaving it anytime soon. I'm gonna be so for real. But I do trim it. Like, I don't like when it gets too long.
Yeah.
I like it to be like a certain length.
Like it's in the button of the pants.
Like 3/4 sleeve type shit. Like you can't braid it. You know?
Yeah, a braid is crazy.
No, you can't braid it. It's not crazy, but I'm not into that. Like, I don't want to braid it for real. Like, but I want it to be there. And I like when it's like a little, like when I come out the shower and it's wet, like it feels really good. Like a little dab of like hyperallergenic conditioner goes a long way.
I will say that when you're fucking and you have a bush, it low-key is like more lubricated. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I also
like,
feel like now, like when my pussy's bald, like for me right now, this has changed and evolved, but I feel hella vulnerable. Like, it's just like out. Like with the bush, it's a little like secret. You have to kind of
I'm like
and,
everyone
like, spread it,
when it's waxed. I'm like I will like
hiding.
Bend over and show everyone my pussy because it looks so cute right now. When it's a bush, I'm just like because this is the thing, guys. If you are a girl like me who has very fucking fair skin and also very dark hair, and I'm also hairy. So it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I wear micro shorts, which I like to wear micro shorts, like the bush is like on the sides, and that I can't do. And I won't shave it because then I'm gonna get fucking razor burn, and then you're gonna see my razor burn on the side.
And it comes back thicker.
And it comes back thicker. So, yeah,
babe,
waxing.
It's okay, and that's okay. Yeah, and I honestly feel like if it weren't for my queer identity, I wouldn't have realized this about myself so soon, because I wasn't able to like recognize myself being beautiful with the bush before I like was really attracted to someone that had one. And I was like, wait, bro, like you look so good. Like I can look like that too.
Yeah.
Like, we can both look like that. So I feel like my like queer identity had a lot to do with like me and that, you know, and, like for you mostly, like it makes sense, but I also think you might just like it better because there's so many queer girls that like to shave it all the time, and there's so many straight girls that love to have it out. Like it's just preference,
because I like it on other people, like on other people, like I like it, like it's fine, like I would prefer there to be hair there, but like on myself,
low-key, right?
I'm just like I mean, like it clean.
However,
I want to look like a Barbie. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you, and I want that for you so bad, dude. Like you should, you know,
right?
But, yeah, I think like all that to say, and like you were like, I'm gonna be vulnerable. Like I think like it's like we like politicize everything and like pussy hair. So if you feel like, oh, I don't like it, guys, sorry, like I don't have bush confidence. Like actually, I prefer it shaved. It's like you feel like, you know,
you're like, I'm not a
that's
feminist.
So real,
yeah.
Like I see you for sure, babe. But it's okay, and
go ahead.
No, I just mean like mine keeps flip-flopping.
Yeah.
Like I ask me on a different day, I might feel differently in 3 months. I don't know.
And
but
that's
right now,
like, it's like, not to make it all
like
political.
I'm gonna go to the beach for sure and like have that.
And
okay,
you posted a picture.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yes.
One time when I was in my era of really not giving a fuck, dude, I documented myself in a video at a horrible angle. Okay,
it was
like
a good angle
on the ground, but like
those
pictures
I was
were
like really
good
back
then.
Those pictures were okay.
Oh yeah,
chill. Those pictures were hot, bitch.
Yeah, I used to really like post pictures, like, and you could see my bush. Like, it used to be like my art time.
Yes.
Like, there's pictures of me at the beach, and I honestly remember like one of my friends messaging me being like, I like your confidence, like, oh my God. And those are like those backhanded compliments, right?
Yeah,
like,
where it's like, I would never.
Like a thicker girl posts something and people are like, damn, I wish I had your confidence. Right. It's like, oh, so I look bad. She didn't mean it like that though.
Yeah.
Like she was queer and she was meaning like, this is like the confidence I work for, and like you're a huge motivation. Like I've never seen someone that looks like you be so like whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like I'm like, you know,
no, those
like
pictures were fire, babe. This summer you gotta bring it back. Bush in a bikini.
Okay, bitch. Okay, I'll bring it back. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And the last thing I'll say too is like I feel like although we love to politicize everything, like it is kind of good that we're having like a Bush summer right now, especially in the conservative era that we are very much in. I think like the polarity of that is chef's kiss.
Yes.
Okay? For our next mini topic, we are going to talk about Justin and Hailey Bieber. Okay, so this happened like 3 days ago. It's like the end of May. We're recording this right now. Basically, Miss Hailey Bieber was on the cover of Vogue recently. Obviously, huge accomplishment.
Yep.
We love Vogue, like whatever. And Justin Bieber himself commented on said Vogue cover online for everybody to see the following, and I'm gonna read it. I told Hales that she would never be on the cover of Vogue. Yikes, I know, so mean. For some reason, because I felt so disrespected, I thought I gotta get even. I think as we mature, we realize that we're not helping anything by getting even. We're honestly just prolonging what we really want, which is intimacy and connection. So baby, you already know, but forgive me for saying you wouldn't get a Vogue cover because clearly I was sadly mistaken. Okay? So public. This was publicly. Okay? Everybody's famous. Everybody saw. So of course, you know, good old Glamour magazine had to make a cover about it. Okay? And so basically, the backlash is women are clearly mad. They are pissed. People are like, wow, okay, I really hope this love never finds me is a typical comment under anything pertaining to this. Like, please do not let this be me. So women are pissed, and it seems to have struck a nerve that says a lot more about gender dynamics in heterosexual relationships than any cringe social media post. And it does very much remind me of an episode that we did a very long time ago, which was the Sassy Man Apocalypse, Stop Competing With Us. That was literally the title. And the competition with gender dynamics and heterosexual relationships is a big conversation, and I do think this is like a perfect example. And basically it's like, you know, obviously when they first got together, it's like Justin Bieber, right? He's Justin Bieber, and she like wasn't as famous as him.
She was
like,
a fan.
Is she a fan? Exactly. But now it's like a drastic shift. Because she is like her skincare. I don't know that much about her. Like I had to do research. I'm not like a big fan of either of them. But she has like a skincare line like close to $1 billion, you know, and Justin like hasn't really, he's been taking several years off work, and like she was on the cover of Vogue. Like arguably like the power dynamics has switched. It used to be like Justin Bieber and Hailey, but now it's like she's like popping off.
And he's like crashing out.
Exactly. Like she's kind of topping him. And the article said, the truth is that our culture is often still more comfortable with the notion of a couple that consists of a powerful and successful man and a woman who largely plays the role of silent cheerleader on his arm. And as some women have commented on social media in response to Justin's post, when that dynamic gets flipped, especially when it happens several years into a relationship, it can be tough to navigate, meaning like Justin Bieber's like fucking insecure because he started as a fan and was all like desperate kink or whatever. And now she's like, just wait, let me finish. Okay. And now she's like a bad bitch on top, like whatever. And yeah, people are commenting like, may that kind of love never find me again. Like never let anyone dull your dreams and ambitions, and all of that.
Yeah, first of all, I feel like Justin Bieber's been crashing out lately. He's been like definitely like maybe like not overdose,
like
relapse.
He's for sure on drugs. Like there's like something.
There's something not right. And also people keep mentioning the Diddy trials are happening and like his relation to Diddy and everything like that. But like I'm going to be real. I think he is sincere as fuck in that post, and he probably meant it in a nice way and not in a backhanded way because he's a dumb man. But also it reminds me of the whole thing that women say and how we had talked about in our boyfriends are embarrassing episode, where it's like your boyfriend is like your number one hater kind of, and like they will embarrass you like unintentionally. Like, you know, like this is his fucked up way and misogynistic way of being like, congrats, babe, you made it. But like reminding her and like reflecting on the ways that he hasn't always been supportive of her this entire fucking time. And it's also sad because it's gonna have people looking. I mean, Hailey Bieber, like, say what you want. I don't love the girl. I don't really care. I'm also not like team Selena as fuck. Like, I never really cared about Selena Gomez either. But like Hailey Bieber has been the fuck through it in terms of like people like being like, you don't deserve Justin and like he should be with Selena and like all of that stuff. And it's
crazy.
Like he consistently embarrasses her, but it's fucked up because also we as like women, I think like we get secondhand embarrassment and then we put that on the woman like she should do better when it's not even like really her fault. Like, yeah, she could fucking leave him or whatever, but we can also look at it in the same way that I feel like I want to know Bianca Censori's story with Kanye, where it's like maybe she's just using him to get to the top and get her brand deal and her skincare line and fucking whatever. But
no one thinks
one thinks that.
They just judge. They just judge immediately. I think like whether it was sincere or not, like to me, the biggest problem is just the way that it was public like this, because it's just like, bro, do you know who you are? Like, this is not just gonna roll over. Like
people are gonna
and people are gonna go after her. Like, as much as they're like, oh my God, misogyny, da da da. It's like they do look at her like, how could you like deal with that? Or, oh my God. And imagine being her, reading all those posts, being like, I hope this love never finds me. Like, it's literally crazy. And we're not really going to get into it, but like briefly, and like you said, like people were talking about how like SZA brought him on stage and they were like, oh my God, like he really doesn't care about his wife because why was he like SZA like that? And I'll put some images on the screen. There's been like a lot of times where Hailey had like a big award she was getting or like a fancy event, like something that was her thing, and he went to support her. And you see her like dressed to the fucking nines, like literally like off the runway, and he's in like Crocs and like a hoodie, just like doesn't like give, and it's just like that embarrassing shit, you know?
Yes.
And it's like people look at that and it's like, you're a bad partner, and then they feel bad for her, and it's just like a whole thing. But I do want us to watch this TikTok as well, someone talking about it, which there's a lot, but I liked this one.
Ladies, listen to me when I say this. You will know when you're dating a man that literally hates you, because they make it so obvious and they literally make it their life's mission to embarrass you and make everything about themselves any chance they get. Justin Bieber is the perfect example of this. Nobody can convince me that he does not hate his wife. Imagine you accomplishing something as big as getting on the cover of Vogue and your husband making it about how he told you he was never gonna get on the cover of Vogue. Like, pause to fucking read. He's sick. The whole point of this video is not even to get into the pop culture of it all, because I really don't care that much. But ladies, you need to realize like being with men like this really affects your nervous system, and it's just not good for your overall health. Like, being with losers will literally destroy your health. Trust me.
Yes. And this also made me think in his post how he is making this moment a self-reflection moment for him to reflect on his own growth and like detract from like her huge moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
making
he's like
it about him.
He's making it the fuck
he's
about
like,
him.
wait, guys, I'm realizing my mistake, and I'm actually such a good person, and like I'm gonna put this. Like, what happened to congrats, babe, period, done? Like,
right. Go to your therapist. Go talk to your therapist about that.
And, like, you should tell her this, like, in a different way. But, like, you guys should, yes, Justin, like, yes, you should communicate with your partner. You realize you fucked up, whatever. Not on Instagram, and especially damn near when you're fucking famous as fuck, and everyone is gonna, like, he clearly wanted to make it about him, and that's crazy, and it's so harsh, but it's like everyone literally is thinking that he hates her. That's horrible. Like, it's, I know, like, she's really gone through it for real.
Yeah.
But again, I don't care about the pop culture of it all either, but I do think, just like she said, like, ladies, please don't let this be you. Like, we need to, like, unpack and, like, understand, like, the things that we deal with. And I'm just, like, I am so terrified for straight people. I'm so terrified for myself if I ever, hopefully not, fall in love with a man again. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think it's so bad. And But if anything, it could be a learning moment for all of us. And also, it's like you think famous people are perfect. Like, oh, Hailey Bieber, she's so hot. Her life is clearly not
Yeah,
great.
her life is not together.
And not that should make us feel better, but I'm just being real. Like, that's another element of this, too. But, yeah, the whole thing is a tragedy, and I think it very much imitates real life. And it just really reminded me of the sassy man because they're in competition, and I do think, like, this has to do with, like, the power dynamic switching. Like, she's popping off, just like how women are in positions of power, dominating every industry, dominating, like, artists, like, across genres. Like, the men are scared, and they should be. But, yeah, this was a tragedy moment. Yeah.
Okay, so my next one, I'm not going to introduce. I'm just going to play the TikTok, and I want Autumn's blind reaction.
I was just watching a video from the New York Times where they were interviewing a man who I've never heard of before, so I can't speak to his qualifications. I can't speak to, like, his general vibe as a commentator. But he's supposedly an American family therapist, Terry Real, I don't know. And he was talking about, like, the crisis of men and why men are depressed and the problems with how we socialize men. And it was so interesting. I couldn't stitch it, honestly. Like, I'm not going to take a video of it. You can find it. It's on the New York Times' main page. But he starts off with talking about how the beginning of the clip is when women are depressed, they're depressed. When men are depressed, they become alcoholics. They, go into violent rages, etc. And he starts there. And then he progresses to, you see a flight into addiction or grandiosity. That I thought was great. I was like, yep. But then the clip keeps going. It goes for like another 30 or 40 seconds. And by the end, we've come to the conclusion that it's the way we socialize men to toxic independence, toxic individualism, and disconnect. And I just thought, no. This is what's wrong with this entire conversation. I mean, there's so many things wrong with this entire conversation. One of the main things wrong with this entire conversation is that the conclusion they always come to, because they never consider patriarchy, they never concede patriarchy, they never concede the violence and oppressive nature of patriarchy when they have these conversations. So because they don't account for that, they start in the right place and then invert and end up with the exact wrong conclusion. Having a man be depressed and not socializing him to be a person in the world, socializing him, combining the things of a man having normal human feelings of depression, of sadness, with the way that they are socialized to be oppressors, ends up in a situation not where they are disconnected, but where they impose their sadness, their depression on everyone else as a flight into grandiosity, where their feeling has to be externalized and ruin everyone else's life. That's what's actually happening. It's not that they're disconnected from people. It's not that they're so independent. It's that they're socialized that they cannot have a feeling without making it everyone else's reality. That they're socialized that they are entitled to make their feeling everyone else's reality. They are not indeed disconnected. They are ruling over, oppressing other people with their flights to addiction and grandiosity. They are oppressing other people with their emotions that they are socialized to inflict upon everyone in the vicinity. They are socialized to inflict their emotions upon the world. Now, to the extent we're saying they're disconnected, they don't know how to, like, just connect and sit with the feeling and reconnect in a healthy way. Sure, that's true. But it's not helpful at all to say that men are disconnected from each other and say, oh, that's so sad, which is where we always end up when we're having these conversations. When we avoid talking about patriarchy, we always say, oh, that's so sad. We end up indulging them even more, indulging their, presumed right to inflict their sadness on everyone else by making it anger, by making it rage, by making it addiction, by making it philandering, by making it cheating, by making it violence. We're not gonna get anywhere in the conversation. Like, yes, men are disconnected, but the answer isn't that we all indulge them more. It's that we force them to confront the reality that when they are socialized under patriarchy, they're socialized not just to sublimate their own feelings, but to inflict those feelings on other people in a way that is oppressive and inappropriate. And that needs to be confronted. Until it is, we'll never go anywhere in this conversation. We'll never make any progress in this conversation.
Do you know who Terry Real is?
Yes, Terrence Real, but I never thought people called him Terry.
Right?
Who's Terry? It's gonna send me into a fucking spiral.
Okay.
I feel lightheaded.
Okay. So the man that this woman is talking about, Terry Real, aka Terrence Real, is in fact a white man, and he is a family therapist. And there was an article in the New York Times called "Why Boys and Men Are Floundering," according to relationship therapist Terry Real. And she is talking about a 40-second clip that she saw talking about how men and boys are raised to be disconnected and how that is fucked up because it doesn't account for the power and da-da-da-da. The whole issue that I had with this video, mind you, it has 273.6K views and 57.2K likes. And 3 people that I follow reposted it. And you've got like a feminist like going in on this is the problem with the men. They don't understand. They're talking about men's issues, but they're not acknowledging patriarchy. She said that. Terrence Real's entire fucking thing is talking about the patriarchy. The whole article talks about the patriarchy. And in the end of the video, she's like, oh, like, yes, men and boys. She's like, no, they're not disconnected. This has to do with power, but they are disconnected. It's just, this is like what's frustrating to me about like today's feminism and TikTok feminism. And I only know this and was able to recognize it because we've done multiple episodes where and I had to check too. I was like, Terry Real, like what? Then I looked it up, Terrence Real, and he's on the New York Times, like whatever. Like, he is a feminist. Bell Hooks quotes him in her book, Men, Masculinity, and Love, The Will to Change. And this is just, like, the perfect example to me of, like, feminism where you're jumping on something because a man said something and paid attention to a men's issue, and then you're, like, getting, like, upset and angry about it, but you're, like, watching her spiral in real time because, like, Terrence Real would agree with everything that she said.
Right.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
why I was so confused.
Yes.
Because some of it was right.
Yeah.
But then some of it, and like my biggest problem with it too, is like there was no intersectionality like at all.
Yes.
Like at all. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like what men and boys like are we really talking about
Yes.
though? And I also feel like the other thing too was like something like she was like, we can't just feed into them and be like, oh yeah, we feel so bad for you, because like, I don't know, like maybe incels are different, but like most men I know like aren't really leaning into and admitting that they're lonely and they're sad. Like it's a lot of like suffering and silence type of thing.
Because of the psychological patriarchy that Terrence Real talks about.
Like Fiji wanted me to like blind react and like it made me super nervous, but like that was a lot. And like I immediately we watched it on 2x speed. Like it does look like white women like rage is like what it was.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so confusing, and the irony of her saying like men will take something and come to the opposite conclusion. And like what she was saying didn't really line, like she was like kind of,
and it has so many likes and so many comments and a good amount of people. I commented on the video and I was like, actually, just so you know, Terrence Real is a feminist, and like Bell Hooks quoted him, like he talks about the patriarchy a lot actually, because like also you're gonna post this video ranting and be like, Terry Real, I don't know who he is. I saw a 40-second clip and it's like rage bait. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw a couple comments from Black women as well being like, actually, I don't like this because you're not considering like the intersectionality of it exactly. But so she had another video, because I don't want to destroy this woman. Her profile says like writer, feminist, something else. So like she identifies as a feminist. And this is just like one woman. I'm not coming at her. I think a lot of people do this, but it is an example of the importance of like doing our research, and also why we have a problem in modern day feminism with not bringing men into the conversation, because you can have a man like Terrence Real who is so on our side, not just with white women, but Black women as well. And then all of a sudden it's like, you're trying to cut him out and ignore how the patriarchy affects men too. So here's the next video from her.
I just wanted to comment because it very kindly raises two issues, both of which I want to expand upon. The first is sort of a note of correction, and the second is like a further clarification, further expansion on my own stance as a feminist. So first, this commentator, and it's not the only one, several commentators pointed this out, that the excerpt that I was referring to, which was posted on the New York Times' TikTok page, although that excerpt never refers to either patriarchy or to domination, Terry Real in the broader podcast episode of Modern Love that TikTok video is excerpted from does mention both concepts, and he also apparently talks about them in his broader body of work and his broader oeuvre. After seeing those comments, so thank you to people for flagging that, for raising that, after seeing that flagged, I did go and listen to the entire podcast episode. I have not investigated any of his further body of work. I will say that I don't think either patriarchy or domination became a large part. I don't think of the podcast episode, I don't think either was delved into by either Terry himself or by the podcast host, but he does acknowledge both concepts and express awareness of them in that podcast episode. After listening to the podcast episode, I'm just going to say that I didn't find his ideas compelling, and I found them to be insufficiently radical. So I want to step away from Terry entirely. I've never meant this to be about Terry. It's certainly not an ad hominem attack. I don't agree with the direction in which he takes his critique of patriarchy or domination, but I also don't claim to be, and I don't think I did in the original video either, I don't claim to be any sort of expert on his oeuvre, on his larger body of work. I will not be reading his books. I will not be like delving into the nuances of his larger body of work. To be clear, what I was doing though, what I was attempting to do, I think accuracy and clarity are important, but what I was attempting to do with my original video, which I think most viewers picked up on, most audience picked up on, and y'all ran with it and created something really cool in the comments, lots of amazing ideas and stuff happening in those comments that has nothing to do with me. But I think what most people picked up on and ran with is that I was attempting to offer a critique of the TikTok video itself as an exemplar of a discursive movement, a discursive tool that's been offered into the larger social discourse surrounding men and masculinity, why are men floundering, and the male loneliness epidemic, which I think are all of a piece of like that discursive conversation, that social discourse is all happening together. So I want to thank y'all for pointing out that in the larger podcast episode he does refer to patriarchy, but I also want to be clear that this conversation isn't about Terry and it isn't about his oeuvre, and I'm not going to be bogged down in a search for perfectionism and a search for complete and total understanding of someone's entire body of work, someone's entire oeuvre, before I make my own entry into a discursive framework that we all are part of. As a critic and as a person, I think nuance, accuracy, and clarity are really important, but I also recognize that this is a very subtle and deeply embedded way that we control women and people who are oppressed under oppressive power structures. The idea that before you can speak on any piece, any artifact, any single artifact that's been entered into the larger like civic discourse, you must be a complete and total expert on every other piece of discourse that's been entered, is often one that's only pushed at women. It's only pushed at people who are oppressed under power structures as a way of silencing them. Women are so socialized to circumspection and to shame. Any woman who's had an argument with a man will be familiar with the phenomenon where you are bringing up a larger dynamic that you know exists, a power dynamic, an abuse dynamic, anything like that, and men will zero in on the one factual inaccuracy or the one logical inaccuracy. Now I want to be clear, I think facts are important, I think logic is important, but I just would encourage all women to not be bogged down by the pursuit of perfection because it can lead to self-censorship. I think that if I waited until I had examined every single entry into one person's oeuvre before I felt ready to make any commentary on a singular artifact that they had offered into the discourse, I would have been chasing my tail, right? I would have been chasing my tail forever. And in the same way that like men, I don't think there are many men out there in the world pontificating about feminism who certainly haven't read every single feminist writer. So I just want to like flag that. Like I want to encourage women, like it's good to be circumspect. It is good. Facts and logic are important. Context is important, but don't ever let the pursuit of perfectionism, which I think people will disproportionately push onto you as a woman who's speaking in a public forum, don't ever let the pursuit of perfectionism lead you to like a self-censorship. Thank you for flagging inaccuracy, but I'm not going to pursue complete and total accuracy at the risk of never using my voice to talk about power. So now I'm going to leave this particular person and their oeuvre completely behind and just speak to the issue at hand and tell you what I think about the issue at hand. And that is this: I'm not a patriarchy harms everyone feminist. And I'll explain why. When people are calling out the existence of power hierarchies, typically what happens is this: a member of the oppressed class, a representative of a person who does not have power in the power hierarchy, will call attention to the power hierarchy as a power hierarchy. And usually that call to attention includes a request for recognition of the differential in power and relinquishment of that unearned power, that unequal power, that oppressive power. So the person who's pointing out that there is a power imbalance, that there's a power structure, is pointing at something about power that is hierarchical. Power is hierarchical. Power has winners and losers. Power has people it gives capacities to, it gives entitlements to, and other people who are dispossessed. Often the move that comes next after a call out or recognition of a power structure has been made is that the people who have power under the structure will say, let's not talk about power. Let's instead turn our attention to harm. Put power to the side for a second. Don't you agree? Wouldn't you agree that this structure that you've highlighted, the structure that you've mentioned, the structure that you've been agitating against, wouldn't you say that it really harms everybody? And that leads to a sort of very pernicious, like separate but equal type of argument, where the idea is, okay, so sure, we're harmed differently. We're harmed differently. Men might be harmed differently than women are harmed under patriarchy's power structure, but we're all harmed. So don't look at power, look at harm. And now that we're talking about harm, people genuinely feel pretty squeamish about hierarchizing harm. People feel pretty squeamish about comparing harms, right? So now that we're talking about harm, don't we agree that actually everybody is harmed? And even if they're not all harmed equally, we care equally about all types of harm, don't we? And once we've done that, once that first rhetorical move, we've taken a conversation about power and we flattened hierarchy into a horizontality. Since everyone is harmed and all harm is morally reprehensible, shouldn't we talk less about power and more about harm? Shouldn't we spend our time tending to the harms? And once you've drawn people away from discussing power and into discussing harm, there's any myriad numbers of ways in which you could direct the discourse. But I like to zero in on three. First, there's a simple evasion. Let's talk about harm till the end of time, because smart rhetoricians understand that you can have people like just telling each other they're harmed forever. People like to do that. It feels cathartic, and you could just do that forever, and we'll never get back around to talking about the power structure. The second is a kind of rebrand, in which there's a new valence put on the power structure. There's a new valence put on what dominates what. The man on top is substituted out for a different man, but because we're no longer talking about power, we still have the power structure in place. That, I think a really common example of that is like, men need to learn to be vulnerable. Men are disconnected from their emotions. It's in men's best interest to become vulnerable. They'll get better at relating to other people and to themselves. But because we haven't addressed power, this new valence simply takes on the domination hierarchy that already exists. So you end up with men using their vulnerability as a tool to like dominate other men. Instead of being the most dominant man, the best thing you can now be is the most vulnerable man. And so this was a lot of men of my generation. The most vulnerable man wins. The best way to be a man is to be this kind of man, and then they use that as a club to dominate each other. The final category that I see is just a simple retrenchment. And retrenchment is simply a reinforcement of the pre-existing power structure that gets the oppressed class on side by encouraging them to see the person who is in power as a victim and to tend to that person. And in so doing, they end up retrenching the very thing that is oppressing them. So what I think a real reckoning is, a real reckoning with patriarchy requires men to actively relinquish the benefits of the power structure and ask them to do so without offering them the supervening reward. They have to relinquish the power for the sake of relinquishing the power, because the power is the problem. The discourse that encourages us to think about harm instead of power is a distraction.
Okay, so this is quite terrifying and quite horrible. And I think that the biggest flaw is like in this 10-minute video, like she hasn't acknowledged her privilege once, and her whole thing about like patriarchy harms all and we're focusing on the harm. No, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing, okay? We can say that patriarchy harms all women, men, gender nonconforming. It harms all of us in different ways. And we're not forgetting that men have power because of patriarchy. That's what we're talking about. That's why it's here. Like, we know that. And like we talk, like you're not talking about power because you're not bringing intersectionality.
Right. You're not
like,
talking about black men or men of color. You're only talking about white men.
The whole thing about like clarity and like research and like the pursuit of perfectionism is
is the most white woman argument I think I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, literally, because really she's like, why can't, and it's like, yes, for certain things, I don't think you need to like not speak before you've scoured the earth to read every fucking book. But it does not take long to Google Terrence Real, and figure out that he's a fucking feminist and that he talks about the psychological patriarchy. That does not take long. And it's also divisive. You call yourself a feminist, but you're not engaging with other feminists. And she says that it's a thing that men do to women. I'm going to hold your hand when you say this. I'm a fellow feminist. I'm calling you out woman to woman, because this is not what, like, you can't just be like, oh my God, you guys are attacking me because I'm trying to reach some sort of perfectionism. You don't even know how to pronounce the name of the person you're talking about or his body of work. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And we need him so desperately.
Yes.
And we have needed him.
Yes.
And it's like, please don't talk down on him, because
like,
we need
protect
so
Terry.
much more of him, because it is important to have male feminists. Like, it's so important.
Yes.
And I do think that, like, this is the exact reason that people are so turned off by being a feminist, and a lot of like new age feminism people are like not as comfortable with the word feminist anymore, because it doesn't include men. Like, unfortunately, if you don't include men in your feminism, you don't include queer men of color in your feminism, like, that's a problem. That's not what I believe feminism to be. It's definitely not intersectional. And I think the whole conversation about male loneliness, I think everybody has so many different opinions on it. And at the end of the day, like, people emphasizing that like men are lonely and like they're disconnected and like that's a problem isn't like coddling them, because it is a problem. Because yes, they're hurting women. They have hurt women. They have unearned power, and that's a big problem. And it's not like, oh, we feel so bad because they're so powerful and that's caused them to be lonely. No. Like, and it's like, they have expressed a lot of their anger and loneliness, and it's like they like are violent and all of these things, but it's like that doesn't mean that like we shouldn't try to help them and like talk about it, you know? And like we've been harmed by men. Like, it's not like we're like, but I feel so like clouded and like the men's apologist like versus this, because a lot of people like think what we're saying is like men's apologists.
That's why I thought this TikTok was the perfect example of things we've tried to talk about in the past, because it's like there is this big brand of like TikTok feminism, like girl feminism, where I think a lot of women would be like, why are you, disagreeing with her or calling this out or whatever. But I think if you're a real feminist and you're really engaging in feminism like this woman claims to, then like you would be engaging in Terrence Real's work, and you would also be open to criticism of your own beliefs. Like, we need to get away from this gender essentialist almost thinking of like, oh, because we're women, we have to agree with everything another woman says because we're all fucking feminists. Because that's like what you're engaging in is not feminist theory. Maybe it's your feminist theory. Like, you have a feminist theory that, patriarchy doesn't affect everyone, which is like kind of a batshit idea to me, but like, okay.
Right. And it's like, she's like, oh, well, like, we always expect women to be perfect. Like, you guys are expecting me to be perfect and all this stuff. And it's like, well, women also have a hard time using their voice and like standing up for themselves. And it's like Black women commenting under the video, being like, wait, I don't like this. Like, that's not easy either. Like, people don't let women,
and there needs to be accountability. And that's the thing too, is like, I think
that's a huge part of feminism.
Yeah. In this genre of like TikTok feminism or like pseudo-intellectualism, pseudo-feminism, there is no accountability or no true discourse, because it's just like, man said this, I don't really know who man is, so man is wrong because he could never understand like whatever, when like this man has dedicated his life's work to and he talks about like his niche is family therapy, so he's talking about specifically the way that boys are raised and how it plays out in interpersonal relationship dynamics. Like, that's his focus. He's not really talking about as much like the bigger structures of like politics and everything like that. That's his niche. So it's like, I don't understand how you can like just surpass like not having to engage with who he is and speak on it. And then what's more scary is how many people are just like behind her, like, yes, agree, totally agree. And this is why so many women and so many people in general are like, fuck the male loneliness epidemic, because they think that they're being feminist. They think that they're being feminist by being like, oh, the men are lonely, we don't care, da 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 da. But what you guys aren't realizing is that like we're getting to the core of what is wrong with patriarchy. And unless we fix a lot of the roots of this shit and how boys are raised and girls are raised too, because Terrence Real also talks about how girls are raised in the patriarchy that affects them and it affects mothers and like relationships, then how are we going to fix it?
And it's like, I get it. Like, I get the anger, but it's like, this is not like old men we're talking about. Like this, like the men and boys in crisis. It's like, I think about the like young boys, like 0 to 18. Like, that is a problem.
And what like, power do they have? Like, yes, they have more power than like girls growing up and all of that. But like, we're also talking about certain statistics that are like flipping and stuff like that. I think it's a very different conversation when we're talking about men in power, Donald Trump, versus when we're talking about boys in crisis, 16-year-old boy in high school.
And the male loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
And only having to go online and like only seeing red pill content, seeing like men are trash. And like, to me, like, men are trash era is way better than what this shit represents. You know what I mean? At least that's like meta irony, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, this is like serious like damage, you know? It's almost like red pill, like white feminism. Like, that's what it fucking feels like. It's just like the pedagogy of oppressed is like the thing that really got it for me, because like I've been there, you know, like I've been there, like I've been like, why should we care about men? Like, I'm so sick of them. It's like men have hurt me, they've hurt everyone I know, and like all of these things. But it's like exactly what you're saying. It's like getting to the root of the problem. And like, unfortunately, like as women, like experiencing that, like we kind of know them better than they know themselves to a degree, you know?
Right.
And it's not like I think every woman should like get out of bed every single day and be like, I'm going to help men. Like, it's not like that. But it's just like understanding that, like, yes, the patriarchy hurts men in a different way. Like, they are conditioned to grow up and like be monsters under patriarchy.
Yeah.
And like, whether it's their fault or we hate them or not, it doesn't really matter. Like, these are the facts. Like, whether you want to believe it or not, like, boys are in crisis, like, really badly. Like, really badly.
Yeah, and it's not to say that, like, a woman, a feminist, whatever, a regular TikToker can't, like, have discourse with what Terrence Real says and disagree with some of what he says. Like, I think that's fine, and that's good for moving things forward, because at the end of the day, he is a man, and he is older, and he's white, and maybe he has gotten some things wrong. But engage in his work, and you cannot, like, the accountability of just being like, oh, I don't have to do that is like what everything that's wrong with like this fake brand of feminism.
Right, because you do have to do that. And like, it's so crazy how she was like, yes, research and clarity is important, but like, I'm a woman and everyone expects me to be perfect. Like, it's so victim mentality.
It really is, yes.
It's really
bad. And it
bad.
makes us look bad, which is like annoying. Like, it's just like, it's so frustrating, because it's like, I want to be like, yes, like all women, like we're all together, but like also like, I'm sorry, but like some of you guys like need to do fucking like better. You know, not that the men don't, like we talk about them all the time, the whole red pill, all of that is fucked. But like feminism itself, like just because it's a man saying it. And it's not
saying like, oh, like men are bad because of patriarchy, it's not their fault.
Right.
Like, no.
There's accountability there too, like how we talked about in the baby girl.
There's so much accountability. It's like, we can only do so much. Like, I do think they need like a brutal confrontation of like who they really are, and like forced to deal with that.
And
like,
men like Terrence, they need men like Terrence Real. And what's the other guy's name that we talked about in the baby girl episode?
Or like FD
Scott
Signifier.
Galloway. FD Signifier, Scott Galloway. And that's what's frustrating is like if it's a man talk, let him talk about it and let him address other men. Like, this is good for us. Like, why are we attacking him? You know?
I know, because it's like that first instinct, and it's really like, this is like the toxic feminism that has been around the longest, because this is how it started. Like, it wasn't intersectional until Kimberly Crenshaw, and like we all know. And like, this is the most like historic feminism, like all that shit, like burn your bras, like men are fucking evil. Like, and I get it, and it's fun to make fun of them. It really fucking is, dude. Yep. But like, at the end of the day, it's never gonna get better for us until we fix that. So look, if you need to, like, look at it selfishly. Be like, I need to pay attention to this, because nothing's getting better just going on how it is, and everybody hating each other and like fearing for their life. And like, multiple things can be true. Like, you can be scared of men because they've harmed you. Like, you can be mad at them. You can be frustrated. But at the same time, like, you have to understand how patriarchy hurts them too. And it's somewhat reasoning behind why they are the way they are. And there's so many good men out there. Like, there really is. Like,
and even further than that, like, maybe
we have to cut that. I sound
no, you're fine. But even further than that, maybe you are a woman that doesn't believe the male loneliness epidemic matters, and you don't give a fuck about that, and like, I will beg to say, like, you don't have to, but like, if you see a man talking about it and dealing with that, like, maybe we just need to sit that out. Like, you know, if you're a woman that can't find the empathy because men have done so much harm to you and like you've been on the brunt of a lot of misogyny, which like I fucking feel you, like, same, but like, then maybe just like leave that over there. We don't always have to make it like completely about us every single time, because men have clearly, they have issues. We've been saying they have issues. So when they go to fix them, why are we mad? You know?
Right.
like
I know. Like, the crazy part is like her attacking Terrence Real, and that's what Fiji was trying to get at, because that's our guy. Like, we always quote him, talk about him, and live by him, and not live by him, I'm being dramatic, but like, yeah, and like, that's what happened, and that went viral. Meanwhile, like, you do have two bitches like us trying to talk about it, and like, I really get imposter syndrome. Like, people are gonna look at us like we really are men's apologists and like whatever, but we're just like, we're not though.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, bell hooks. Like, we found bell hooks first before we found Terrence Real. I don't think we would have been like as hyped for Terrence Real unless, you know, we read bell hooks, and bell hooks quotes him all throughout her fucking book. So, you know,
right. And the parallels between like their thoughts specifically, and you can very much tell their perspective. Like, that's the thing. It's like Terrence Real doesn't shy away from his own privilege when talking about this, and that's the only way it can be done correctly.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, this woman didn't bring it up once. Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Like, and I'm like, you can really sit there and be like, no, like, it, like, fine, like, you want to hate like young white boys, whatever, but like, you're gonna say the black and brown young men, like, they're not in a crisis, they don't matter, like, they're dominators. Like, that's crazy.
Right. When you talk about power, and you like, we cannot keep thinking all men have power, because you're denying gay men, trans men, black men, men of color,
because race
poor
is
men.
Tops gender every single time, clearly. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, that takes you out of it. And it's like, I like the pursuit of perfect, like, last thing I'll say, it's just like so crazy to me. And I feel like, unfortunately, like, it's not pursuit of perfectionism. It's like, it's the accountability and like privilege piece.
Yes.
And like, if you're gonna like talk about this, like, you do have to look it up. And that's on like white women need to do better. And I just, it's so like,
and at least take accountability. Like, don't double down. Like, in the next TikTok, I expected her to be like,
down.
oh, I read more about him, and like, thanks for educating me, blah, blah, blah,
and she
blah,
was
blah.
like, I will not be engaging with any other work. I watched the full podcast episode. Like, I didn't really see it. And don't ask me, guys, because I'm not going to try again. I'm not reading anything else. Like, and then you lost me. Like, I'm not going to listen to you after that. Like, that is just insane. And I don't know if I feel like she's too far gone, unfortunately. I don't know.
Bye.
So our last mini topic is going to be about how nobody wants to have kids anymore, okay?
Valid.
And how fertility is going down, and it's becoming like, you know, people are scared The Handmaid's Tale is going to literally come true. So, and again, we were just talking about this in another episode, the tabloids, the headlines, they love to put it all on Gen Z. Gen Z doesn't want kids, when really, as we're about to learn, that's not really the problem. So, USA Today, Gen Z is having fewer kids. Does declining U.S. birth rate worry you? Tell us. So basically it talks about, you know, as a woman, this is a question we are asked, not only by your friends, your family, your coworkers, like, people ask, like, oh, are you going to have kids? You just get married. Are you guys going to have kids? Like, it comes up. People are, I think, starting to learn a little bit that you shouldn't ask, and you should never ask, and you should wait till anyone says anything.
Yep.
Obviously, if you're like partners, you're going to have that conversation. But like, other than that, like, it's kind of a no limits, because of like how traumatic it can be for so many different women, for so many different ways, whether it's like they're not able to have kids, they've had a miscarriage, things like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, and so many other things as well. And so you just shouldn't ask, but everyone feels entitled to. And basically, the U.S. fertility rate dropped to a historic low in 2023, the most recent year we have data, with only 3.6 million births recorded. And as the birth rate has declined, panic has ensued. And the stat right now, on average, American women are having 1.3 kids. So the article asks, why are we having fewer kids, if any, at all? And the reason is just most people don't want to. 57% of child-free adults under 50 cite that they just don't want to have kids, and that's why they're not having it. And that's from 2024 Pew Research Center. So just like real quick, like I've always been someone that does want to have kids ever since I was like classic stereotype. You know what I mean? Like I came out the womb and I was like, I'm going to be a mom and I'm going to take her to dance class, like the whole thing. And I think in light of the world and everything that's really happened and that's been happening, more people are like waking up to like maybe it's not the best idea to bring kids into this world. I do think I've had more and more conversations with people I've met, friends, things like that, of people just like not wanting kids. And I do think as a woman, it's something you're like forced to confront with because you're so entitled. They don't ask young boys, oh, do you want to be a father one day? Like, it's not a thing. It's like, oh, who's your wife going to be? Whatever. But with kids, it's like, oh, where are my grandchildren? You know, for women, it's really deep because while it is a beautiful and amazing thing that we're able to do, it's also a lot on your body, physically, emotionally. There's a lot of health complications, like side effects that no one really talks about as much. And when you do hear something, you get scared and think, oh, I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's like a deep topic. Like I really think you should never just ask someone like if they want to have kids like that unless you like them in that way or like whatever the vibe is, you know, the difference.
Yeah.
Like when you just come up to someone unpocketed like that. But there's a new term that I learned, and apparently I learned through this TikTok. It's called antinatalism.
Okay.
And we're going to listen to the TikTok to explain what that is. But this young person is basically saying antinatalism is the biggest reason why Gen Z specifically doesn't want to have kids.
What if I told you that the most unethical thing you could do is have children? Well, maybe not, but there is a philosophical justification for why our generation are increasingly choosing not to have kids. And the philosophical theory is called antinatalism, or the idea that it's inherently unethical to have kids. The reasoning behind this theory is pretty simple. When you're in the womb, you cannot consent to being born, and you cannot consent to being brought into a world, especially that is now facing, you know, genocide, climate change, discrimination. You can't choose the family you're born into. You can't choose the body you're born into. You can't choose the socio and economic issues that you might face just through the family that you were born into and the place you were born into. You can't choose any of that. 99% of your struggles in your life are going to be determined by how and where and when you were born. And your parents decide all of that for you. Our generation are increasingly realizing that saying that you want to have kids or you're ready for a family or you want to have a big family, none of those are actually sufficient reasons for bringing another human being into this world. A human being that never had a say in whether or not they were brought here, and a human being that is not going to have a say about any of the issues they face as a result of being brought up by you and your family and wherever you live. So yeah, antinatalism is a very strict theory, and it argues that, you know, no matter what you do to try to mitigate the effects and the consequences of bringing this child into the world in a non-consensual way, it's still inherently unethical to make that decision.
Okay, yeah, this is crazy because I never really thought about the idea of like consent and like, you know, like this child
Me neither.
didn't consent to being brought into this world. And I'm like, damn, like I didn't consent to being into this world, but like I'm kind of glad I did. Like,
I'm
you know,
so
like
glad I'm here.
I'm glad I'm here. Like
Exactly.
whatever. It's kind of like a depressing way to think about it. But at the same time, it's like, I do think that like a lot of us are more aware because of like therapy and like conversations on social media and all of those things, that the way that like your childhood deeply impacts like your trauma and who you grow up to be and like all of this stuff. And like I think about that, like I'm like, when would I have time for a kid do I have the money for a kid? I'm not partnered right now. Like all of those like ethical questions and the political climate come into my mind because it's like, if I were to have a kid in today's political climate, like it is kind of selfish. And it's also like, there's so much that I would want / need to be able to give that child a good life. Like from like making sure that they're educated, since the education system is like just getting fucking worse. And like, I don't have the time to give that. And then there's also the vain reasons of like my body and like everything fucking else, like staying young and like whatever. But like, I think about like Alana in Broad City where she's like, oh, like I'm 27, like I'm a child bride or like whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, bro, like I'm too young. Like, what the fuck do you mean have a baby? I'm like 1.3 babies per woman is too much. There should be it should be -2 babies per woman. Like it should be less women out here having babies, honestly, because it's like, where the fuck? What about the dads? What are the rates for the dads in the child's life? I want to know that statistic. But I'm just like, like what are we doing? Like I had thought about having a kid more like in the last relationship. Like what? I don't know why. I was delusional. I was getting like good dick. Like I was like, maybe I want a baby. But like, no, like, you know, you feel me? So like there's too much to consider. Yeah. And anti-natalism, like I'm fucking with it. Like it's not ethical to have a child right now. I don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean like, yeah. So because I was going to ask you, like, do you think having a child is selfish right now? And you think yes.
I think
less people should do it.
I think it's complicated, right? Because not everybody has access to birth control. As I bought a Plan B on fucking Monday, Plan B is $50 fucking.
Yeah, you need to get back on birth control.
I should before we're in the Handmaid's Tale, but I didn't like how it affected my body, which is like a whole different conversation. But yes, like the access to birth control, access to Plan B, access or religiously, depending on how you're brought up or your family values. If you're 16, not everyone always, I mean, they're making a woman who is literally brain dead have a baby right now. Not everyone has the choice. You know, mistakes fucking happen. Like we need to stop saying like, don't have casual, like mistakes fucking happen. So I want to like acknowledge that and not like blame people for things that are accidents. Yeah. But at the same time, like, yeah, I feel like it makes a lot of fucking, I don't think that if you have the access to birth control, the access to condoms, Plan B, the access to choose not to have a child, and you know ethically that you cannot take care of a child or give a child the best life that you could give it, I don't think that it is. And that doesn't mean that you need to be with the father, mother of the baby or like whatever, because there are plenty of beautiful children that are raised in single parent households and stuff like that, or are raised like without a higher income. Like I don't think you need to be perfect to have a kid, but I think that it is a huge thing to consider, especially right now. But just with how much we're overworked, I mean, like I make good money and I'm working 2 jobs and doing this podcast. I don't know how the fuck people afford it.
Yeah, babe, I love you so much. Like, I think everything you said was, like, so fucking real. And I'm the same as you, too. Like, there's so much, like, to say. I feel like the whole consent thing is, like, so interesting. And that's never something that I've thought about before. So that really, like, opened my mind. And, like, I don't fully know how I feel about it.
I don't fully know either because I'm a little bit like, all right, but, like.
I think it plays into the, like, what you said, the importance of, like, yes. I don't think being a parent is something to take lightly. I think it is you have a lot of responsibility to set your child up for success. And if you do not have the tools to do so, then I don't think you should have the baby. But it gets complicated.
Give the baby up for adoption.
Or give the baby up for the adoption. And that's a whole thing because the adoption is not great either. Yeah. Like, it's so hard. And at the end of the day, we're talking about life. Like this is something so real and so serious. And I really believe, like, as much as I want to be a mom and believe that I will be, like, God willing, like, if I can't, like, I will adopt, like, I'll find a fucking way, bitch. Yeah. Like, it's happening. If I'm not ready, like, if I'm, like, poor or I'm not going to do it because that's not right. But I think that falls into the consent thing where it's like, yeah, if their life sucks, of course, like, yeah, I didn't consent to this, you know? And we're like, we want to be here because overall our life is good, you know?
Yeah.
Like, for some days are harder than others. But I think, like, yeah, like, they didn't consent to the bullshit to be put through. Like, if you're not good parents, you can't provide for them in that way. I think the education system thing is huge. I think what to do and how to educate your kids right now is a really scary but, like, important conversation. Because if we continue to go where we're going, I don't want my kid to, you know, like, that's insane.
I feel like it's a full-time job to
and
unwork.
I think homeschooling is just like a lot. Like, you have to make extra time for socialization. Like, you have to really prioritize, because otherwise, you know, school is like a huge part of like how I learned to like be a real human being. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think like it's also like ironic that in an age where like we are getting the choice robbed from us as women, whether we want to have kids or not, simultaneously people don't want to have kids because the world is so fucked up, and it's like can be argued as unethical like at this time. And I do think the world has always like been fucked up, but like it's so different now, like in a way, like when I was like, or maybe I'm just like more aware, but I've never thought like, oh, the world is too bad, I can't bring a child into it.
But
and
I
think
mean,
that,
it
like,
was
speaks to my
back in the
privilege
day.
a
Yeah.
lot. Exactly.
Because like
That's what I'm
back in the
saying.
day, like think about times when it was literal like slavery and shit like that. It's like, you know, I mean, then there wasn't always like a chance of consent and stuff like that too. But it's like, I feel like there's always been like shitty time. I don't know. Part of me is like, I don't know.
It's so confusing, and I think like ultimately, like if this is not clear, like we both believe that like we're pro-choice. Like if a woman doesn't want to have kids, not shaming them. I think everybody should, like if they want to, and if you don't, I don't think you ever should. And I think we just need to be so careful when talking about it. And I do think kind of like article titles like Gen Z doesn't want to have kids is worrisome, and it's fear bait, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's to make people scared, like we're not fertile, like look at this statistic.
But ask why. Like, I mean, like, because people can't fucking afford it. Like, I mean, if you have the choice, most people, like, I literally don't know how people afford it. Like, I have friends that have kids that are single parents, and thankfully a lot of them have, like, other family members that are, like, in their lives and stuff like that, like, helping out. But it's, like, it is not fucking easy. And like that's not to say that like, you know, kids aren't gonna have terrible lives just because their life isn't like they don't have everything they need at every fucking beck and call. Like the kid could still grow up to be like the next fucking president. Like I don't know. You know, but it's also just
you don't
like
need to be rich, you know, that would be ideal, but that's not even necessarily like you can be rich and still not provide for them in the way that they need. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I got the emotional shit unpacked. Like I feel like that's going to be the easiest part. Like I really feel like for me it's like just and it's like it's not enough to just be like, oh, I want to be a mom because like I feel so feminine and like I want a big family, like I want to like make my own family. Like no, like that's not enough, and like it's fun to dream about, but like at the end of the day, like, and I'm also terrified because the stereotype of once you have kids your life's over, and I do kind of feel like it is, like, and I feel like maybe it should be like they deserve your devout
mean they're gonna take so much time, they're little but vessels also on your body, like
but also if you completely just stop doing everything else that makes you happy, you're not going to be
I will be a shell of a person. Yeah, I don't know if motherhood is for me, bro. Like I need like a stay-at-home wife, husband, whatever the fuck, like that. Like I would need to meet someone that their life goal is kids and taking care of them, because it's sure as fuck not mine.
Should we like be together then?
Like low-key, if nothing else but we work together.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But if nothing else works out, like we could raise a kid together, baby. You'll raise it. Yeah. What if you have our kid and then we're on the podcast and you're like, but we can't say that. Like the kid, I'm gonna like lose my mind.
Oh my God, babe. I know, but that's real. And because like I feel like I need to do some inner work on myself of like why I want to be a mom so bad and why I've always had that idea.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I just want like. like that type of love. Like, I don't know. I just think it's beautiful. Like, me and my mom had a great relationship. I fucking adored my mom growing up. Like, holy shit. And it's not like I want someone to adore me, like, in that selfish way. And I really don't care, like, if my child looks like me. I don't have, like, a biological need. And, like, that's something important to, like, a lot of people. It's, like, and I don't believe in that. Honestly, it kind of freaks me out because
I could see myself
little,
adopting. Like, I've always seen myself more like adopting like a 13-year-old when I'm like older.
Which
you know,
is like so that is a horrible life stage, but that's very necessary.
Like, but that's why I love it, because it's like a challenge, but they can talk and like you know.
And it's like the most like after like a certain amount of age, it's like so sad and how low the rate is of actually getting adopted.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I think it's a big conversation, and also like we didn't even talk about it, but like religion's definitely a thing.
Right.
Like, everyone looks at it so differently. But yeah, I think the title of the article should be like this anti-natalism shit, because although I'm not fully like gonna lead that revolution and be a part of it, I understand it completely.
Yeah.
And I do think it's like selfless, like in a lot of ways, you know, because it's like, fuck, like the world is really bad. It's only gonna get worse, you know?
Yeah.
Our kids outlive us by like fucking 50 years or some shit. And it's just like,
well, that's the other thing too. A lot of people want to have kids because like, who's gonna take care of you when you're like dead and like decaying?
I know. Can we take care of each other?
We'll both be decaying.
Oh yeah.
Like, who's gonna wipe your ass when you're like,
oh my God, chill. Like, we'll be rich and so we'll have nurses. If all faints.
Fingers crossed.
We'll
I mean,
get,
if
like,
I'm
a
rich, I would
younger-
have a kid because I'd get a nanny. Yeah. I mean, I would still like take care of the kid, but like,
yeah, no, for real. Nannies they make the life go round.
Right.
But yeah, let us know what you guys think, if you feel comfortable, or any of the mini topics that we've talked about. We went from Justin Bieber
to Bush
to fucking
confidence, patriarchy, babies, damn.
Yeah. Terry Real. I've never heard Terry. It's always been
Terrence.
So I was anyways. But let us know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you liked the episode, give it a like and subscribe on YouTube, and same thing on Spotify and Apple. If you could rate us on Spotify and Apple, that would be amazing. We would appreciate it so much. Follow us on Instagram too. We post polls for our episodes, and we give an opportunity for listeners to submit stories that we'll talk about in that episode. So follow us, Instagram, @SoWetSoDry. The O's are zeros. Same on TikTok. Our TikTok is popping off right now for sure. We just got back from New York, so we have a lot of skits. We're pre-recording, so I don't really know, but for sure it happened.
Manifest.
So follow us there too. And yeah, just feel free to topic suggest anything, whatever your heart's little desires in our Instagram. Yeah.
Yes. We also have listener support. It's $9.99, $4.99, or 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99 a month. It is in the bottom of the description of every single episode, no matter what platform you guys are listening on. And we love you guys so fucking much. We will catch you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Don't be shocked. You're shocked? You're shocked?